Hello and welcome everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bitcoin Goes Sideways, featuring Savage, your host, as well as Bitcoin and his good friend Sideways. Just kidding. Okay, so let's get into the fun stuff here. Basically, what we are looking for is still that further evidence that we could be looking at a 1-2, looking for this bigger third wave to the upside. We don't have that confirmation yet. We were talking about the fact that we could be building up some ones and twos here, so that's still valid. We need to just also be aware that we have talked about it previously. We could see a bigger flat correction in here still. So these support zones are going to be important. In case we do actually look to break to the downside. This 26,631 to this 24,810 region. That's the highest support zone here. The lowest support zone is here towards this 23,580 to this 21,182. So now we can also throw in this 382, which would bring us up a target up here towards this 24,647, which is quite an interesting one because it would be in line with these tops here. So it's not very often we get a wave 2 that only comes down to this 382, but sometimes this can happen. So it's worth keeping an eye on that area as well. If we do see this move break down and potentially come back and challenge this 24K area. So yeah, gonna have to keep an eye on it. For as long as we continue to hold this bullish support higher up here, potentially we could be setting up some additional legs here to the upside, setting that base for a bigger move to the upside. So we were talking about a few things in the previous video. This one, we're looking at that possibility that we have this as a wave one. I can actually get rid of these internal waves now. I don't need them there. But basically, this is another wave one, two here, looking for that bigger move up towards this 31,000, this 31,780 area to be, a bigger third wave here. We don't have that confirmation yet. This is also potentially just a bigger correction here. So we need to see that move to the upside. So we did come back down here, find support, and then we were talking about this potential yesterday. We were looking for 1-2, 1-2, and then we just failed to develop up here, and we actually took these lows out. So that invalidated this. But I have looked at this move, and potentially we can argue within here that there is a five-wave move, and the way you would have to look at it is the fact that you could then count this 1-2. This is a third, fourth wave triangle, fifth wave to the upside. So you do get a little bit of overlap here on this fourth wave in the which would be the A wave of that triangle. However, that it doesn't actually complete within this wave one high, so this is allowed. So this could then allow for the fact that we could see a 1-2 situation here, and we could actually be looking for this move to complete to the upside in a bigger third wave. So this is going to be our key zone here, this 30,068. This is the zone I want to see a move into if we do actually have a five-wave move here. What I want to see is another five-wave structure playing out to the upside here, and either coming up towards this 30,000 range. 30,068 would be the ideal third wave target, and we'd want to see this play up into this zone, get an additional fourth wave here, and then possibly move up one more time in a fifth wave. This is what we want for good structure. We want to see this additional fifth wave here, and then from there, this can either look to extend up, or this could then be a bigger, completed move as ABC, and then we could have that bigger flat correction. So this is what I'm looking out for here. If we fail to um, meet that higher target here, which is, let me just turn it back on here. We failed to actually get up towards this 31,780. This whole move here could just be A, B, and C, and then that would open us up to that idea of that flat. So what I want to see here is whether we do get this break to the upside here, but we really need to get back above some of these key levels here because, the structure within here is a little bit worrying in the sense you could argue that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, some kind of a diagonal for a fifth in here, and then this could become an additional 1 and 2. So really, what you need to do here is get back above some of these key levels. So ideally, we want to get back above this zone here of this 28,543, and we want to get back, above this support zone and start to take these highs out. For as long as we don't take these highs out here, I would just be on the lookout for, if we see something like this, if we see a three-wave move up, ABC, come back into some of these zones, potentially even as high as this 786, retest this high point. And then 618 would be retest of this zone here. So seeing whether we get a move up here, sorry, a move up here as a three-wave move, and then we actually look to reject down one more time in a bigger way. If we do start to break down deeper here, we're gonna have to keep an eye on this 26691. Basically, if we move down towards there, I would have to start looking at this potentially as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this would potentially fit into that idea of having a bigger five-wave structure here to the downside, which said I didn't really like the structure of it. I don't really like the structure of it, but it is still potentially viable. We were talking about something like this, where this becomes a 1 and a 2, and then we have a bigger, third wave here, where this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flat for a wave two. It doesn't take the high. It's awfully choppy, but basically, if we start breaking down towards the beginning of these levels, we have to start looking out for that possibility that we could have actually had this real move building from further back here, where this is actually an A, a B, and a C. We just actually haven't started dropping in that C wave. So that's something we're just going to have to keep an eye on within this structure. Potentially, if we did see something like that play out, we could be talking about uh, looking towards this 1618 here, towards this 26,150 one area, or alternatively, the other way we can look at this is by measuring this slightly different. And what we would do with that is basically we come into this low, measure up into this high here, and then we'd throw on the let's just go onto the regular. This zone here towards this 25,376 is another way of measuring this. So if we do start to break down in a bigger five-way move, I'm going to be really paying attention to the top end of this 25 to 11, and then some of that support zone that we talked about earlier within that key support, looking towards this zone here also of this 20 this 24,672 as a 0.382 retracement. That would actually bring us back into this level. And from there, we would then be looking for the potential that instead of having this as a bigger 1, 2, 1, 2, we'd have this just as a single move here as a wave one, come back down for a two, and then be looking for that bigger third wave to the upside. Um, we also need to be aware, this could be a fifth wave move completed, in which case, like I said before in the previous videos, we have to and be allowed for the fact we could see a bigger three-wave move down here, back to this 27,757 to this 17,104. This is still viable, so we just need to see how it plays out. We want to see this confirmation of these moves to the upside. All the structure is there. It just needs to start sort of confirming it now, because the longer we just sit in this zone and we fail to do anything, the less likely it becomes that we're actually forming impulsive structure here. And, the more likely it just becomes a bigger corrective move. So, yeah, we're going to have to just keep an eye on it and, keep an eye on those ideas. We've got a couple of things here. The bigger flat idea is still on the cards as well. And this is why I'm saying, if we see what a C wave move up towards these zones here of this 29,000. Let me clear some of this off here for now. Up into these zones of this 29,946, where this just becomes a three-wave move up. Potentially what we have to be cautious of is that this isn't just a biggest B wave here, and then we still get that C wave to the downside and come down at a later date. So, these things are still viable. Really, if we want to count this as a five-wave move, it needs to start, pushing to the upside here now. Otherwise, it becomes more likely that we're going to see some more choppy sideways corrective stuff, and it's just gonna get into a big mess. So we were talking about that as well in the previous video. I just need to find the right tab here. It was this one. We were talking about, instead of looking at this as a five-wave move that we could potentially have completed towards this 0.618, so we didn't actually move up anymore. So there is, we can also look at it in this manner where this is just a WXY here. and then we could be looking for that potential to come back down into this channel or towards some of these zones of this one to one, for instance, at this 26,918. The problem with this is this would then make this quite big again, and we just go. Then we would potentially have to argue within here that we've got a W and X, and this would be a Y, and then that could be completed. But then once again, we're at the same area again. What we want to see off of here for that continuation is good five-wave structure to follow it, and breaking out of this range. The longer we just sort of sit sideways here, the more likely it is that this move's going to eventually break to the downside. So, we need to just I'd like to see this get going if it is actually setting up these ones and twos, because like I said, the more we just range sideways here, the more likely it is that eventually this is going to just peter out and basically fall down again and potentially come back to those support zones that we have just talked about, down here towards this 26,581 initially would be the higher support zone to this 24,794. If we lose 23,896, basically we have these two lower support zones that we would be looking for. First prime would be this 24,672. Obviously, that's higher, that's at 0.382, but lower down it would be this 23,604, 604, 21,204, and then basically this lower range here, 20,757 to the 17,104. If we start to lose 17,104, we'll have to switch to that bearish count, where this could actually just be a bigger flat correction, and then we could actually be starting a much bigger sell-off to the downside, and we could look to set some new lows. But for as long as we continue to hold these key support zones, we have to allow for the fact that we are still setting higher highs, higher lows. So this can continue to move to the upside as long as we continue to hold those support zones. So until those break, I'm going to be continuing to look for that potential. But yeah, we need to see it hit those key targets. So primarily, the one we need to see right now is, if we're looking at this as sorry, that is the wrong one. I'm actually just going to delete that. Looking for this higher move up towards this 30K region. We need to get back above these highs. Otherwise, like I said, potentially we form something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this starts to fall apart again. And then we'd have to either argue that this is also a flat correction in here, or yeah, I mean we'll have to see how it plays out. But basically, if we start to get five-wave structure to the downside, we're going to have to start reevaluating some of this and potentially look at this maybe as a flat, as a wave 2, 1, 2, and then this would be a 3, 4, and a 5. Yeah, so it could open us up to actually having a deeper move towards this lower range here of this 25K to this 24K region. Potentially, if this fails, this support fails to hold, then yeah, basically I'd be looking down here, lower down towards maybe this 618 here at this 22,583 would be quite an interesting level as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find links to Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. As well as that, you'll find affiliate links for both Primex BT and BYBIT down there. Both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. If you don't have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.